Click the link in the description to go to aoa.com, the best place to buy Skull and Bones silver cheap. Use code DTG for 3% off at checkout. Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Skull and Bones and we're doing our final ship guide, at least for the moment, because these will be the last ship that we will have available to us in the game, at least for now. I don't know. At some point in the future, I would at least hope that they'll be introducing frigates and man-of-war ships and maybe Chinese junk and all sorts of other stuff. But for now, this is the last one we've got, and it is for the Sambuk Ship. Definitely one of the more rare ships. I feel like there's probably a lot of people that have unlocked it, and maybe they just don't like it as much, because you don't see it sailing around very much. Not even when you see a bunch of, real late game players that have pretty much everything. They're sailing around in a level 11 ship. They don't have the Sambuk, so it's relatively rare. Maybe people don't like it. I know that I've used it quite a bit now, and although I definitely have found ways to make it very effective and think it has a lot of strengths, it's not my favorite, so I would understand that a lot of people just have it sitting in their storage and aren't using it. But with all that being said, it's still the most advanced ship in the game, so if you want to get your hands on it, this video will show you how. So we're going to go through all of that. I'll show you where to get the schematic, how much it costs, then we'll talk about the materials, how to get those, and we will go through the crafting process, and then I'll go through specific stats and strengths of the ship, and we'll end on my weapon suggestions to maximize the effectiveness of the ship based on the ship's perks. So let's just dive on in, and we'll start it off with the schematic. And so the schematic for this one is tricky. It's not like the other ones where you just go to an island or whatever and you can buy it. It is more difficult than that. So to get this one, you have to get it from the black market. And to go to the black market, there are only two locations for that, which you probably already know. And those are Teluk Penjara and in St. Anne, so your two pirate ports. To access the black market, you have to have progressed through the first several contract missions in the Helm. If you haven't done that, you can do that at the Helm location in St. Anne. Once you've unlocked it, you can then purchase it, assuming you have the required amount of pieces of 8. So you can either go to the representative in St. Anne or Huma here in Teluk Penjara. Once you do that, you will be accessing the black market, and you can see there's a ton of different stuff you can buy from her, most of which is for pieces of 8. But we're going to be looking for the very, very last schematic she has, which is for the Sambuk. And you can see it costs 5,000 pieces of 8. So this is totally separate from silver. You cannot buy this currency. It's not like a pay-to-win thing. There's no conversion. You have to specifically earn pieces of 8, and you can only do that through Helm activities. If you want to know how to do that, I've already made a video going into how to earn 5,000 pieces of 8. Well, actually, just specifically how to earn pieces of 8. If you want to check that out, look into there. I'm not going to show it in this video. Suffice it to say, you need 5,000 pieces of 8 to buy this blueprint. And it doesn't stop there, because once you've gotten that, you can see that our required materials to craft this are 15 greenheart planks, 15 magnetite ingots, 12 roselle cloth, 4 wood tar, 4 cogwheel, 2 torsion spring, an eel's twine, and another 12,000 silver. So, very, very strict requirements, and the thing that you might not recognize, even if you've watched all of my shipbuilding videos, is the eel's twine. That's because, like many of the high-tier stuff in this game, you actually have to purchase it here at the black market, because there's apparently no other way to get it, not even from like rare in-game events or anything. So that will cost you another 1,500 pieces of 8. So if you want to build the ship, you need your 5,000 to buy the schematic and another 1,500 to buy your eel's twine. As far as the rest of the materials go for this ship, I've shown how to get most of them in previous videos, especially if you already watched the Brigantine video. It's going to seem very, very similar here. But to get all of your first 3, your basic materials for the ship, so your wood, your metal, and your cloth, it's going to be down in the southern section here. So for the magnetite, I should say, for all 3 of these resources, a lot of the ships down in this region are going to have these materials. So if you hunt down the ships in this area, you will get pretty much all of the crafting things that you need to build the ship just from hunting down enemy ships from the company and from the Dutch Merchant Company. Because they all, or at least the vast majority of them, will carry some form of these types of loot. So that's one way to do it. But that being said, if you want to harvest them and refine them yourselves, starting with the magnetite ingots, these 2 islands that you can see here in the southern basin, we have the one with the Grand Falaise fast travel and the one with the Dutchman's Camp. Both of these have a bunch of magnetite ore all around them. them. So you can just go to these islands, mine plenty of this, and then bring it back and refine it. So you can see there's a bunch of them on those islands and a bunch more over here. So that is what it looks like on the map, and those two islands have all your magnetite on them. So if you want to just mine it and refine it, these are your islands. For your greenheart planks, this is the rarest tree in the game. Again, like I said, you can get greenheart by looting the ships in this area. Otherwise, there is the Dubois lumber yard here. You can see that that is where you can plunder plenty of green heart planks. So if you just want to plunder a place and get them, that's the way to do it. Otherwise, this island here, where that lumberyard is, has green heart on it. So you can see that there's 2 symbols here. So there's some nodes for green heart that you can get around here. And there's also some more in the island directly north of that. So on this farther point, you'll find green heart. It's a rarer tree. So like I said, you might be better off going to the lumberyard and looting it. Otherwise, like I said, you'll get it off a lot of the ships in this area. Then for our Roselle cloth, we're in the same area. It's these 2 islands though for Roselle. So like I said, you can loot it from all the ships in this region. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for this little symbol here. That is Roselle, and so there's that island, and then not this one directly north of it, like I was pointing out before. It's actually up here in the Central Basin where the Kokok Tarapung fast travel is. You can see there's a bunch more of these Roselle nodes. So very easy to stock up on a lot of it. In fact, if you fast travel here, you can sail around the island harvesting it, and by the time you get back around, it will be ready to harvest again. So I did that once and built up enough Roselle to refine over 300 of them in one trip. So you can get a lot of it pretty quickly. So that's where you get that. So like I said, pretty much all your basic materials are going to be in this area. Wood tar and cogwheels are more specific. Those are loot that you get from ships, and both of those are ones that you'll find on compagnie ships. By the time I got to this point, I already had hundreds of them in my storage, because any compagnie ships in the entire region, so mostly just this southern region here is where you're going to find most of these ships, they will drop both of those things, wood tar and cogwheels. So as far as specific locations to go, you can get cogwheels at all of your compagnie forts, and so if you want to specifically go to a area and loot for it, that's one way to do it. I find it's easier to get it from ships, and anywhere where you can get cogwheels, you can also get wood tar. So all the same ships in the regions where you're finding the cogwheels, you can find wood tar, and same thing for those forts. If you plunder those forts, you're likely to find wood tar. Then we need torsion springs. As you can see, on Fort de Lys, we have the ability for possible loot to get them here. Same thing goes for the La Bastide, one of their settlements. And again, you can see wood tar here as a possible loot option. So all your French locations again. And again, like I've been saying, the ships in this area. The reason I highlight that so much, the fact that it's from ships, is that's the way that the game makes it most efficient to get most materials. Is you go to a location, you find the ships in that location, and you hunt them down. They're easier to take out than forts, and they're quicker to take out than forts. They will carry a vast variety of different resources, most of the ones from the area. So if you're looking to build a ship, for instance, hunting down ships will oftentimes get you every single one of these resources that you need from one location. Because if you find a compagnie ship in this region, they're likely to have magnetite ingots, to have green heart planks, to have Roselle cloth, to have wood tar, cogwheels, and sometimes even torsion springs. So with all that being said, that's where you get all these materials. Then, of course, I already showed you where you have to purchase the eel's twine, which is the black market. So that is all the materials for the ship. Once you've gotten those materials, you've got to return to either St. Anne or Telek Penjara, which is where we currently are, and make your way to the shipwright. Once you're at the shipwright, we're going to be crafting it, and it is the last ship available. So it won't let me click on it, which is annoying because I don't have eel's twine on me because I already built the ship, and I'm not going to spend another 1,500 pieces of 8 on it. But anyway, we'll just have to look at it in the small window, I guess. So it's a Sambuk class. It's called the Pyromaniac. It's a medium-sized ship. It says a ship specialized in dishing out fire damage and burning its targets. It is also able to target multiple enemies in close proximity. So this one is another one that is great for your fire-based DPS. So it is a DPS ship type, so that means it's specialized in dealing damage and status effects. The DPS favors an aggressive playstyle, so it's a very offensive ship. Our perk is the Scorched perk. It says deals 5,000 burning damage when you apply the Ablaze effect to an enemy ship. Ablaze will be applied to enemies in a radius of 150 meters, increases damage to ships with Ablaze effect by 50%. So if you're dealing a lot of fire damage, you're going to set the Ablaze status aboard ships around you, and if you're close enough when you're doing that, it will cause that Ablaze event to happen, which will send out a blast wave in 150 meters around that ship, which will affect other things around that. So it's great for fighting groups of ships. The stats for this one: base ship rank of 5, hull health of 35,000, brace strength of 7,000, speed of 11 knots, trimming speed of 14 knots, so similar to the Snow. It's significantly slower than the brig. Cargo of 70,000, so extremely high cargo capacity, being the same as the Patawaking and only lower than the Snow. The Snow is the only one with a higher cargo capacity than the Sambuk. And of course, as standard, stamina of 100. Our loadout potential is a full battery, so we have a bow gun, both broadsides, a stern, and an auxiliary, and we actually have 5 furniture slots, so the same as the brig for this one. You can make this ship extremely effective. I have, like I said, I did a full fire build for this one, and it is very, very powerful. It is not as popular as either the Snow or the brig. It's not as fast as the brig, and it doesn't carry as much cargo as the Snow, so most people don't like using it. I really only find the Sambuk to be an excellent ship if you're specifically building it out for that fire-based build. Because if you do that, it has the absolute highest DPS of any game currently available, any ship currently available in the game. And so for the weapons and stuff on this one, obviously for armor, we're going to want to go with as good as possible. So the Black Prince, the Gamba Kobe 2, the Ouroboros, the Bastion 3, or the Iron Husk 5, all of those are top tier armor, and they're going to be excellent options for this ship. Otherwise, whatever the best armor you have is going to be the one you want to go with. Then, just as a general way to go, whatever weapons you have for the ship, make them ones that fit your playstyle, but also deal as much fire damage or help apply the ablaze effect as possible. And so with that in mind, one specific build that I find works pretty good with this one. For our bow weapon, we're going to want to use Sea Fire, and so the best one you can use there is the Blue Spectre. It's just the best of all of the Sea Fire weapons. So if you have that one or can use it, definitely do that. But otherwise, whatever the best Sea Fire you have is great for the front weapon. Remember, this is a low-range weapon, but it deals a tremendous amount of damage and really helps to get that ablaze effect going. Outside of that, our broadsides should be the long guns, and I like using the Fire Long Gun 3 for this. Now, the general reason for that is because we want a cannon, and we want it to deal fire damage. So the Fire Long Gun 3 is the only one that makes sense to use for that. There's a short-range one that you could use a demi-cannon, but the problem with that is it's really short-range, and so it makes a pretty terrible weapon for it, unless you're using your Sea Fire on the front and staying really close to the ships as you then turn to broadside them. I find the Fire Long Gun makes a better broadside weapon for this build, because it gives you that range and accuracy that the long guns have, and it does deal a tremendous amount of damage, very accurately. So that's our broadside weapon, Fire Long Gun 3 for both sides. Then for our bow weapon, or not the bow, the stern weapon, so the back, the Fire Bombard 3. It's the best bombard in the game for dealing fire damage, so it makes sense that it will do that. It also deals just a tremendous amount of damage in general. And then for our auxiliary weapon, it's best to use rockets if you can. So both the termites and the regular rockets will apply that burning damage. So like I said, we want to make sure every weapon we're using is doing fire damage, because that's how you make this ship as effective as possible. If you don't like using the rockets, then just the general Leopold or the enhanced mortar, the Leopolds, are going to be the next best bet, because they give you the highest damage for mortar options. But if you want to try and make the ship as effective as possible, every weapon needs to be dealing fire damage, and so the rockets are the way to go for that. The termites definitely do fire damage and piercing damage, whereas the standard ones have the burning 2 perk, which is better than the burning 1 of the termites. So arguably the regular rockets are a better option than the enhanced rockets for this one, but the enhanced rockets will overcome that by also dealing more damage in general. That is just on the whole the best build I've found for the ship. You can substitute a lot of that. So one time I was doing it where I made the front and back guns, I made those the Fire Cannon 3s, and then I put the Fire Bombard 3s on both of my broadsides. That also worked really well, but using the Sea Fire does maximize your DPS potential. The only downside is that it is lower range. But that's all for today. That's the Sambuk. Like I said, a surprisingly unpopular ship in the game, given the fact that it is the highest DPS if you outfit it like this. Obviously for furniture, I'm not going to show it here just because there's a million different ways you can go. Any stuff that is specifically enhancing the weapons you're using, or any of your fire damage or your survivability in general, is going to be the way you want to go with that. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.